Well, good Saturday to everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. We are ready to go, or just about ready to go, for the NBC Game of the Week. We're now in the month of June. This game was played June the 2nd, 1973, so only one day off the normal date for 2024. And starting pitching matchup for today's game, Juan Marichal for the Giants and Dick Ruthven for the Phillies. And the game is being played at Candlestick Park, so we need to figure out the ballpark effects before we start. Hello, Jeff, and hello, Brian B. How are you both doing? Hope you're both doing well. Let's see here and make sure I can see what you guys are seeing. All right, so we got the ballpark effects. We're now in the month of June, so we're looking at ballpark weather effects. San Francisco, way down here at the bottom. So 1 to 10. And we're going to have good weather. 11 to 19 is average, and 20 is bad. I do have the San Francisco colored dice, so we're going to roll the D20, evil D20. It's an 18, so it's average weather. Still not bad for home runs. For singles, not so good. It's 1 to 5. But for home runs, for whatever reason, lefties really get a break because it's 1 to 19 for lefties, only 1 to 9 for right-handers. So I'm not sure why that's the case. But that's the way they rate it. So lefties 1 to 19, righties 1 to 9. That's for the home runs. And then for singles, it's 1 to 5 across the board for everybody. So weather effects have been taken care of. Now let's look at the pitcher-batter quotient. I'm sorry, catcher-pitcher-batter or catcher-pitcher quotient for the hold ratings. Let's see, for San Francisco, Marshall's a 0, but Dave Rader's a +2, so the Phillies will have a +2 advantage on the base paths. Ruthven's a -1. Boone is a 0, so Ruthven and the Phillies get a -1. So the Giants will be in the disadvantage by 1 on a -1. San Francisco won this game in real world 11 to 7. So we're going to see how it plays out here for the NBC Game of the Week. Next week, we're back to the American League, and we'll be in Oakland, and it will be the Detroit Tigers against the Oakland A's. That'll be next Saturday as we go back to the American League. And we'll try to rotate and get all those teams in. So the first, before the All-Star break, I'm trying to get every team in at least once. And then after the All-Star break, I'll go by the standings on the Strat computer and figure out the best matchups at that point. Okay, so like I said, giant color dice. I think we're ready to go. Juan Marichal finishing up the warm-up tosses. I don't have an accurate picture of Candlestick Park from Play.com. I've got the one from the late 70s, early 80s. I believe in 73 it still had AstroTurf, but this is the best I had available, so that's what I got to go with. And that's what we will go with. So leading things off for the Phillies will be Cesar Tovar. He's a well-traveled veteran. Been on many teams, particularly Minnesota, that I know of. And I think he's played for Texas and some others as well. So we're ready to go. Juan Marichal against Cesar Tovar. And let me get my other things out of the way here so I can get everything the way I want it. Check the focus one more time. I think I need to adjust that. So hopefully that's good now. And I think we're ready to go. That's the best I can get it anyway. All right. Marichal to Tovar. NBC Game Week is underway. 4-4. 4-4 against right-handers. Ground ball third base X. That is the third baseman, Ed Goodson. And Goodson is not so good. He's a 4-E41. 4-E41 obviously is not very good. 4 and a 14. Let's see how that plays out. 4 and a 14 is a G2. He'll get to it. E41 and a 10. Third baseman, E41. There is a 10. It's a one-base error on Goodson. And I don't have the right logos for the Phillies. I had to use an old logo for the base runners because I didn't have it printed. So we'll have to live with it. But it's an E5. E5 as Tovar reaches on the E5 by Mr. Goodson, who again was not so good. Tovar, to get the lead, needs a 4 through 6, but a 12 he would be caught stealing. If he does get the lead, it'd be a 15, and then the factor for Phillies is a -1, make him a 14, being held, make him a 12. So he's going to go ahead and try to get the lead, see if he can do it. Got to avoid getting picked off. That's an 8. He does not get the lead, so it's a moot point. He will stand pat. He will be held, but he'll stand pat. And Denny Doyle, your batter, second baseman. That means the shortstop, Chris Spires, responsible for the hold. Marichal, 412 against the left-hander. It's a ballpark home run chance. We've already seen it's 1-19. However, he has weak power. Weak power, so it's just going to be a single with 2 stars. So 2-star single for Denny Doyle, but at least if you're Marichal, he didn't hit the home run. And that will be first and third with nobody out. Denny Doyle not going to be held on. He doesn't run all that well as far as stealing goes, so he will not be held on. Havoc roll, Willie Montanez. Infield back for the double play. They need outs. So 4-6, and that's not going to help the cause. That's a solid single to left field. And with the ball hit to left, Doyle will stop at second. So the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. That run is unearned. But it doesn't matter. Phillies lead at 1-0, and Marshall's off to a rough start. Here comes the bull, Greg Luzinski. Infield definitely looking for the double play. Nobody being held on, so no responsibility is there to worry about. 3-7, and that's a strikeout, a much-needed strikeout for Marichal. And there's one down for a guy I've really never heard of before, Mike Rogozinski, I guess you want to call him. We have a Luzinski and a Rogozinski. He's in right field. Not very good. He's a 4E17. Nothing on the Havoc. Marichal, 6-7 against the lefty. That's a fly ball center field B. That's out number 2. And maybe Marichal gets out of this with just the 1 run allowed. But he's got to get by Dell Unser, solid center fielder for the Phillies. 1 chance for a wild pitch, and his wild pitch rating is a 1. No wild pitch. It's blocked by Boone. Hello, Mr. Kenyon. How are you doing? Marichal, 6-10 against the lefty. Struck him out. It's going to end the inning. So Marichal rebounds after the error and 2 singles. So 1 run, 2 hits, 1 big error, 2 left. At the end of half an inning to play, it's the Phillies 1, and the Giants will be coming to bat. So Dick Ruthven has been spotted a 1-0 lead. And he will be facing Mr. Bobby Bonds. Hello, Stephen. How are you doing? All right, here is Mr. Bobby Bonds to lead it off against Ruthven. 6-9, and that's a walk, leadoff walk. Not what you want to do. Bobby Bonds is on with a walk. He's definitely a threat to go. 2 through 6 or an 11, he gets the lead. And so they're going to certainly try it. That's a 10. He does not get the lead. So they're going to hold him on. He's not going to go anywhere. He would be a 14, and -4 would be a 10. So it would, and then -1 would be a 9. So there's not good numbers there. They're going to hold him on and keep him there. Hello, Mr. Robert. How are you? Be careful on the road out there. Ruthven, strategy roll or Havoc roll, nothing going on. Infield, double play depth, and with the runner being held, shortstop, Larry Boa is responsible. We get a 6-9, and that's a strikeout. So Ruthven gets the K on Fuentes, and there's 1 away for Gary Maddox, who will later go on to the Phillies. Nothing going on the Havoc roll. Getting a haircut. I didn't think he had any hair to cut. All right, here is Ruthven, 3-3. And that is a low, look at that. That is a low max. I'm sorry, no, 3-3 is, I was 3-2. 3-3 actually is a ground ball to first base B, so it's a fielder's choice. 3-6. Almost a low max, but it's a fielder's choice. And Maddox will be the new runner at first base with 2 outs. But he's going to look to get the lead. 2 through 5, an 11 or a 12. Hello, Doug. How you doing? 2 through 5, 11 or 12. It's a 3. Gets the lead. So it comes out as a 17. Being held makes him a 15, and then -1 for pitcher catcher is a 14. So 1 to 14, he will steal it. And he does. So Gary Maddox slides in safely. Boa protesting, but to no avail. Stolen base will stand. Maddox is at second. He will be held on to try to not let him get a big jump off second base on any base hit. So he will be held. And here comes Ed Goodson. He made the error in the top of the first that caused the run to score. Hello there, PFLQR. How are you? Ruthven now 4-5 against the lefty. Fly ball center field B. That's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Giants there. They get no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. One inning is complete at Candlestick, and it's the Phillies 1 and the Giants nothing. And for everybody who came in late, next week it is the Tigers at the A's from the Oakland Coliseum next Saturday. Bob Boone will lead off the top of the second. Hello, Steven. How you doing? Yeah, it's still, I mean, I'm getting better, obviously, but it's still, it's not something you're going to forget for sure. I mean, I have her as my screensaver on my phone, so and when I'm driving around, she's riding shotgun with me all the time. So it's a new normal. I may get another dog when I retire. Not sure yet. Too early for that. So it's just part of life. It's the cycle of life, as they say. But thank you for that. 2-4 for Boone is going to be a ground ball to short, and Mr. Spire takes care of that. One down. Boone is out of there. Here's Larry Boa, shortstop. Marichal 2-7 to Boa. That's a 1-3 single, but that's a 15, so he lines it to second. And Fuentes grabs it for 2 down. Brings up Ruthven. He's using pitcher hitting card number 1. Pitcher hitting card number 1 for Ruthven. But it's off Marichal, 6-9. And that's a fly to right field to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning for Marichal. And we go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0. And due up for the G-men, it'll be Gary Matthews, the Sarge. Again, a lot of ties between these two teams because Matthews will go into more popularity as a Philly. Hello, Utah Mike. How are you doing? Ruthven 5-9 against Matthews. That's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but obviously in the second inning he's not tired, so strikeout is good, and the Sarge is out of there. Brings up shortstop Chris Spire. Right-handed hitter against Ruthven. It's 2-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. Denny Doyle will take care of it. 2 up and 2 down for King Kong, Dave Kingman. Playing at first base today. Good thing, because at third base, he's a 5 E53. At first base, at least, he's a 3 E22, so he's more respectable. 2-9, but that's a strikeout. Lots of strikeouts on King Kong's columns. And it's 3 up and 3 down go the G-men. So 2 innings in the books. Still 1-0 Phillies. Marichal back out. And back to the top of the order for Cesar Tovar. He reached on the Goodson error and then scored the only run of the game. 5-2, and that against a right-hander. It's a fly ball left field. Put away by Gary Matthews. 1 down for Denny Doyle. Doyle singled his first time up. 1-9. He's going to ground it right back to Marichal. Easy play. 2 up and 2 down. So Marichal seems to have settled in since that hiccup in the first inning. Here's Montañez. 2-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Easy play for Spire, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Marichal. He is now retired 9 in a row. So we go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0. Favor of the Phillies. And due up for the Giants, it'll be the catcher Dave Rader, followed by the pitcher Marichal. Marichal is using pitcher hitting card number 3. So a little bit better than Ruthven, but not much. 4-4, and it's a ground ball, third base X. Third base X. Third baseman is Tovar. He's not very good either. He's a 4E26, so this could be trouble. 4 and a 17, though. He'll get to that. It's the error we got to worry about. That's an 8, and he is an E26, and there is no 8, so Tovar makes the play. Tough play, but he made it. And Rader is out of there. 1 down, and here comes Marichal. Again, he is using pitcher hitting card number 3. 3-5, and that is a ground ball to third. This time a much easier play. Turned in there by Tovar for 2 down. And back to the top of the order, and Bobby Bonds, he walked his first time up, but was erased on a fielder's choice. 6-6 against the right-hander. That's a 1-4 triple. Anything else is a single. So that will be a 2-out single for Bobby Bonds, and he's going to look to get a jump or get the lead. He couldn't get it last time, but he's going to try it this time. Again, he needs a 2 through 6 or an 11, but he's got to watch out for that 1 for a potential pickoff. That's an 8. He does not get the jumps or the lead, what do you want to call it? So he stays pat, and Tito Fuentes is on. Of course, he's being held. So Ruthven now 4-10 against the switch hitter batting left. Catcher X, that's Bob Boone. Booney is a 3E4. 3 and a 6. 3 and a 6 for a catcher is a P/P. And that's a 10, and he is an E4. E4 and a 10. There's no error there. But it is a P/P. And let's check P/P. And it says here, with run on base, but when they're using the... Okay, so we're going to use the wild pitch thing to see if a pass ball occurs, basically. Ruthven's a 13 wild pitch, so if we get a 1-13, then it will be considered a pass ball. And it is. So it is going to be a pass ball on Boone. Couldn't stop it. So the pass ball moves Bonds up to scoring position with 2 down. Fuentes still at the plate. Nothing on the havoc. Ruthven to Fuentes, 2-9. Ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. And do it for the Giants. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. 3 innings are in the books here at Candlestick. 1-0 is the score. Marichal now will be facing Luzinski, who he struck out his first time up. 4-10, and that's going to be another catcher X. This time it's on Rader, but nobody's on base to worry about a pass ball, so we're just going to see if Rader can get to it, whatever it is. Rader is a 3E2. 3E2, and that's a 17 on a 3. 17 on a 3 is a G3. E2 and a 12 should be okay, and it is. So it's just going to be a ground ball in front of the plate. And Rader will throw out Luzinski 2-3 for out number 1 to start the top of the 4th. Now Rogodzinski flew to center his first chance. 5-7 left-hander. Ground ball second base X. That's Tito Fuentes. He's a 2E6. 2-20, he's all over that. E6, and that's a 7. Should be okay, and it is. So it's a good play for Fuentes. 2 down. 2 X chances in a row, but made both times by the Giants. 110, and that is for Unser. 110 is going to be a walk, so it's a 2-out walk to Unser. Again, I don't have the right logos there, but it does say Phillies. So that's all I'm going to worry about. Unser will be held, but he won't go anywhere. He has 2 chances of getting caught stealing 8 and a 10, so they're not going to try it. But he's enough of a running threat that he's going to be held. And here's Bob Boone. Nothing happening on the Havoc. Marichal, 1-7 to Boone. 1-7 to single. That's a 9, though, so it's going to be a liner to short. Spire grabs it, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0 favor of the Phillies. Nip and tuck so far. Ruthven has a fatigue of 6. Marichal fatigue of 7. So nobody's worried about fatigue at the moment. Here's Gary Maddox. He will lead things off. 3-9, and that's going to be a solid single for Gary Maddox. Solid single. Gary Maddox is aboard on a single, and he's a threat to take the lead, or get the lead, I should say. Hello, Gerald. How are you doing? So to get the lead, 2 through 5, an 11 or a 12. That's an 11. He does get the lead. So the lead is a 17. -2 for Bale is a 15. Pitcher-catcher combo is a -1. So that's going to make it a 14. 1-14, and Maddox will steal it. And he's caught stealing. How about that? Bob Boone just threw him out. That evil D20 took care of business. And Maddox is caught stealing. Caught stealing as Larry Boa put on the tag. Now it's going to go 2-6 for out number 1. And here's Ed Goodson with the bases cleared now. Hello, DJ from the left coast. 6-7, and that's a walk. So Giants get a runner right back on base, but now Goodson not going to be held, and he's not going to go anywhere. So no threat there. But he's on base, and that's what the Giants need, are base runners. Here's Gary Matthews to Sarge. Seeing what he can do. Struck out his first chance. 6-7. This time he'll walk. So all of a sudden now Ruthven has issued back-to-back free passes. And now the caught stealing is really big. First and second, 1 out, but a double play gets him out of the inning. Nobody's being held on. Here's Chris Spire. Ruthven just needs a ground ball A to get out of it. 5-7. He might get that. It's ground ball second base X. That is Doyle. He's a 2E23. 2 and a 13. I don't know if that's going to be a ground ball A or not. Let's see. 2 and a 13 is a G1, so it does work that way. That's a 13 there, and he is an E23. Nope, need an 11 or a 17 for an error. So that's going to be good. That's a double play. 4-6-3. Just what Dick Ruthven ordered to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. 4 innings are gone here on this Saturday, June the 2nd, according to the 1973 calendar. Of course, it's June 1st on 2024 calendar. But it is 1-0 Phils as we go to the 5th. And Larry Boa, who turned that nice double play, will be leading off the inning, followed by Ruthven. 2-6, and that's a solid single for Boa. He will reach with a leadoff single, and that sets up Ruthven with the possibility of bunting him over. They will hold him on to make sure he doesn't try to get a free chance at a steal, but I'm thinking more than likely they're looking to bunt. Ruthven's bunt rating is an A, becomes a B with the corners in. So he becomes a B. So we'll go to our super advanced bunt chart and take a peek-ski. He is a B. So we'll see what happens here on the bunt. Roll all 3 dice. The white die will tell us who fields it. And, of course, the colored dice will tell us what happens. All right, 2 means it's fielded by the pitcher. That's a 4 as a B bunter. 4 says speed. So speed says batter lays down a great bunt and has a chance to beat out the single. Roll with the D20 and it falls within the running range, scored a single. All right, well, he runs at a 10, so let's see if he can put down such a great bunt that he makes it. He does, so how about that? He beats it out. Not sure how realistic that is, but Ruthven is going to beat out the bunt. It was such a great bunt that even with the corners in, they couldn't do anything with it. Don't know about that one, but that's the way it is. I thought about getting something on like a coffee mug or something, Brian. I've got a lot of pictures on my phone though, so she's constantly always in front of me and everything. So I don't know. I may do something like that eventually. I don't know. I feel kind of bad that I didn't bring her back home and bury her in the yard. I just had them do the cremation thing, but I really didn't feel like digging a big hole in the backyard. I was really not up for that. But in hindsight, maybe I should have done something like that. But in the heat of the moment, you never know what you're going to do. You know. All right, here's Tovar. First and second, nobody out. Nothing going on there. Boa is held on because he's a good runner. Marichal, 3-5 to Tovar, is a single 2 stars, and that will score another run. So Tovar with the RBI single is going to score Boa from second base and move Ruthven over to third. So how about that? Phillies knocking around Marichal pretty good. Tovar, don't know if he's gonna be held, but he's not gonna try to steal, but he will be held. And now here comes Denny Doyle. And now what do you do if you're the Giants? Do you play back for a double play, or do you try to minimize the damage, or you cut the runoff potentially? I don't know. There's nobody out. You really need some outs here. So they're going to play back for the double play. They really, really, really need outs. Marichal really needs a strikeout or a pop-up or something like that. 4-10, catcher X. Not sure it's what he needed. Raider is a 3-2. 3 and a 7. That could be interesting. 3 and a 7 is a P/P again. And that is a 12, and he is an E2. So there's no error there. But it's P/P, so we're going right back to check and see if there is a wild pitch or not. Or a pass ball or not based on the wild pitch rating of the pitcher. Marichal is only a 1, though, so it's not going to be a wild pitch. It's going to be a ball in the dirt, and we'll redo it. So that kind of worked out a little bit better for him. 4-2, and that's a ballpark home run chance. But Doyle has weak power, so it's just going to be a single 2 stars. But that's enough to cause some damage as Ruthven comes and scores 3-0 Phillies. Still nobody out. Now the Giant bullpen might start to loosen. Sam McDowell. Sudden Sam McDowell, who actually is going to start in the 1967 next game in that replay for the Cleveland Indians. But he's in relief here for the Giants. Infield, again, looking for the double play. 3-5. That's a strikeout. It's a huge one. That's what he needed. Now a double play would get him out of the inning. And it's Greg Luzinski. Greg Luzinski. One chance for a wild pitch on a 1, but no wild pitch, so we'll try again. 110, and that's bad news. That's a 1-5 triple. 10-20 is a double. That is a double for Luzinski. Doyle was not being held on. Let's see, his run rating for Doyle is a 14. Not being held makes him a 15. There's only 1 out, so 1-15, and the ball is assumed to go to center field. And center fielder, Maddox is a -2, so they're going to hold him up at third base. Not going to take the chance on Maddox's arm. But another run is in. 3 runs in the inning. It's 4-0 favor the Phillies. Now the infield is going to have to come in. Chuck, no highlight catches as of yet. All right, so the infield is in because they got to choke the runs off. Rogodzinski 4-6, and that doesn't matter. It's a single to left field. And Luzinski, who does not run well, will hold at third base. As Matthews is a -1 arm, they don't really want to challenge him either. But Doyle scores. It is now 5-0, 4 runs in the inning. And that may be the end for Marichal, as he is getting knocked around from pillar to post. And we turn to left-hander Sam McDowell. Sudden Sam McDowell will be coming on. He did have 3 saves. He had 3 starts and 3 saves, so he was a starter/reliever, but he doesn't start anytime soon. So he will be in there. And let's see, is there a double switch to be had? I believe there is, because the pitcher spot hits third. So we will have a double switch. We got to figure out who's going to come out for the Giants. Last out was made by Spire. I doubt they would. They may take Goodson out at third base. Let's see who they have to play third base. He might be the best candidate to be removed. So let's see who can play third base for him. Chris Arnold is a possibility. Mike Phillips is a possibility. McCovey at first base. You could play. Boy, that would be rough to put Kingman at third base, though. That would be tough. They may do it, though, because they need offense. So Willie McCovey is going to come in on a double switch. So McCovey will bat in the 9th position. Play first base. Goodson is out of there. This is the pitcher spot now. And Kingman now is at third base despite being a 5 E54. He is now the third baseman. But they got to have some offense, so that's what they're going for. So let me update my score sheet. And the pitcher spot bats 4th going forward. So coming out of the game completely is Ed Goodson. So in the bottom of the 5th, it'll be Kingman, Rader, and Willie McCovey. The first 3 hitters in the game. All right, so sudden Sam McDowell is in a situation where he needs to get out of a jam in a hurry. Lefty on lefty with Del Unser. Infield is in. They got to choke the runoff. Nothing on the Havoc. 4-8, lefty on lefty is a walk. So that's going to load the bases. The bases are now loaded. And the 9th man to bat in the inning, Bob Boone, is coming up. Now they can get a force at any base. But they're still going to play the infield in. They need that. They need that out at the plate the worst way. 5-8 against a right-hander. Ground ball second base X. That is Fuentes. Fuentes is a 2E6. 2-2 though. Got a bad break there. 2-2 is probably going to be a hit. 2-2 is an SI1, and that's a 6. E6 and a 6 is no error, but it's an SI1, so it's a single, and everybody moves up a base. And now the Phillies have batted around. Luzinski scores. Rogozinski goes to third. Unser to second, and Boone on with the single. And now Boa, who led off the inning with the base hit, is back up again to bat here in the 5th inning with the bases loaded. He was called the Baby Shark back in 2019. That's what he was going by. They had that children's song, The Baby Shark, or whatever it is, and that's what Gerardo Parra picked up for the Nationals back then. All right, so McDowell to Boa, infield still in. 6-10, and that is a catcher X again. So Rader has to be careful when a catcher X. 3-2. 3 and a 4. That's the D20 is not helping them. 3 and a 4 is a W/G, and that is a 10. 10 on a E2. There is no 10. So it's a W/G. And it says here, with runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. So it's a wild pitch to score the run. Scoring is Rogozinski. Going to third is Unser. Going to second is Boone. Now the double plays out of the equation, so the infield definitely has to be in. 6 runs are in the inning. It is now 7-0 Phillies. Infield, of course, trying to choke anything they can. 3-5 against the lefty for Boa is a ground ball second base C, but with the infield in, we'll check our chart. Second and third, ground ball C is a 1 with the infield in, so that means batters out, runner holds. So Boa is out for out number 2, and now that brings up Ruthven, so maybe they can get out of it now with the pitcher coming up. Dow. Nothing happening. 4-4 against the right-hander is a ground ball shortstop X. So that's Chris Spire. He's a 2E36. 2 and 11, he'll get to that. The E36 is the question, and that's a 7. E36, there is no 7, so Spire makes the play to end the inning, thank goodness. So there isn't any more damage done. But as it already is, it is 6 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. No errors, and they left 2 on base. When we go to the bottom of the 5th, it is 7-0 Phillies over the Giants. Was not expecting this from the Giants. Now, the Phillies did score 7 runs in real world in the game for the full game, but the Giants put up 11. Right now, they are showing goose eggs. So Dick Ruthven coming back out with a huge lead. And he's going to be facing the new third baseman, Dave Kingman, and his 5E53 rating. But they got to have offense. So 1-5, and that's a 1-18 home run. There it is. It's long, and it's gone. Kingman with the boom. And unfortunately for the Giants, nobody's on base, but maybe that'll spark their offense as Dave Kingman, look at it again. A 1-5 is a 1-18 home run. That's a 5. It is gone. So maybe that's going to spark him a little bit. We shall see. Maybe it'll wake him up. Here's Rader. 5-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. That is Unser. Unser is a 2E6. 2 and a 9, he'll get to that. E6 and a 7. No problems there. 2 and a 9 is actually an F2. Not that it matters, but nobody on base, but he does make the catch for 1 away. And now here's Willie McCovey, who came in on the double switch. .410, and Ruthven on a .410 is a catcher X for Bob Boone, who is a 3E4. 3 and a 15. Got a lot of catcher X's in this game already. 3 and a 15 is a foul out. That's a 12, and he is an E4. I don't think that'll be a problem. It is not. It's a foul out to Bob Boone for out number 2. Brings up Bobby Bonds. 6-5, and that's a 1 for a home run. Anything else will be a double, and that's a 3, so it will have to settle for a double for Bobby Bonds. 2-out double. He will be held, but obviously not going to go anywhere. And here's Tito Fuentes. 5-3 against the switch hitter is a fly ball left field X. That's Greg Luzinski. He is a 4E2. 4 and an 8. Will he get to it? 4 and an 8. 4 and an 8 is a SI2, so he does not get to it. That's a 13. He's an E4. I'm sorry, E2. There is no 13, but it's an SI2. That's going to score the run as Luzinski could not get to it. That will score Bonds. RBI single for Fuentes. It's 7-2 now. Fuentes will be held, but down 7-2. They're not going to try to steal. Phillies may be substituting for Luzinski later in the game if they still hold the lead. 2-5 for Maddox. That's a ground ball to second to end the inning. But at least the Giants show a little spark. 2 runs. They do it on 3 hits. No errors and 1 left. 5 innings are in the books. It is 7-2. Favor the Phillies. Due up for Philadelphia will be top of the order in Tovar. And McDowell will try to hold the fort. Allow his team to try to make a comeback. Top of the 6th, 7-2 Phillies. 6-6 against a right-hander is a walk. That's not a good way to start. So yet another base runner here in the 6th inning. My score sheet's off by 1 column now because of that. When they batted around, that moved everybody over 1 column. So I got to make sure I keep that straight. Tovar will be held, but he won't try to go anywhere with the score 7-2. They're not going to try to rub it in. Dowell against Doyle. 2-4, and that is a ground ball first base B, so fielder's choice. 3-6. Doyle, the new runner. Same situation. Actually, they won't even hold Doyle. They're not even going to hold him on. Here's Montañez. Nothing going on there. Montañez. That is a 6-7. 6-7 for Montañez against McDowell, and that's a solid single to left field. They will hold the runner with the ball hit to left field. They will hold him at third base. It's going to bring up the bull, Greg Luzinski. Looking for 2 to get out of the inning. 4-11. That's not the way to do it. That's a ballpark home run. 1-9 for right-handers. That's a 2. It is long, and the bull says it is gone. Greg Luzinski just jacks one. A 3-run shot, a Earl Weaver special. And it is now 10-2 Phillies. 10-2 Phillies at 4-11. Ballpark home run chance, 1-9 for the stadium, and that's a 2. No doubter as Luzinski goes deep, and that might be the end of Sam McDowell very shortly. To try to finish the inning. 4-4. It's ground ball shortstop X. That is Spire. Spire is a 2E36. 2 and a 3, though, is going to be a base hit, I do believe. 2 and a 3. Nope, I take it back. It's a G3. Got to it. That's a 14 as an E36. E36 and a 4. Hold on, I looked at the wrong thing here. Let me double check it here. 2 and a 3. Yep, it's a G3 because he's not holding anybody on. E36, and that is a 14. 13, 15, 16, and 17 are errors, but not a 14. So he does make the play. And there's 2 away. For Del Unser. 4-9, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-6. That's a 10, though, so it will be a double for Del Unser. He had weak power against lefty, so it would have been a single, but instead it's a double. So Del Unser with a 2-out double. So he joins the hit parade. And it brings up Bob Boone. Havoc roll, nothing happening. McDowell, 4-8 against the righty Boone. Struck him out. He's not tired yet, so the strikeout is good to end the inning. So for the Phils, 3 runs. They do it on just on the 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. So they answer the 2 by the Giants with 3 of their own, courtesy of a Greg Luzinski 3-run homer. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 10-2 Phillies. That's all for Sam McDowell. His day is done. It'll be Ruthven facing Matthews. I'm sorry, facing the pitcher spot, McDowell, because we are at the 4th spot in the order. So we'll need a pinch hitter for the Giants. And let's see, they're going to go to Gary Thomason. So Thomason is your pinch hitter to start the inning against Ruthven. Try to get something started. 2-5. He draws a walk. So that's something, I guess. So Thomason will not go anywhere, will not be held. Score 10-2. They're not holding anybody on. Ruthven now to Matthews. This is Ruthven's fatigue inning, so we got to keep an eye on that. 6-2, that's a ground ball pitcher X. That's bad news because Ruthven's a 5E51. 5, and that's a 15. Let's see what a 5 and a 15 brings. 5 and a 15 is actually a G2. Could get a force play, but the E51 is trouble. That's a 4. E51, there is no 4, believe it or not. Wow. He gets the force play. So Matthews is the new runner at first, but now it's going to go 1 to 6. Actually, 1 to 4 as Doyle covers with the righty at the plate. So the fielder's choice, 1 out, and Chris Spire, the batter. Yes, Brian B. in the 7th inning, I will do so. I don't want to do any substitutions before the 7th. 6-4. 6-4. That's a ballpark single check, 1 to 5, but that's a 12, so that will be a line out to shortstop for out number 2. Brings up Kong. He hit the home run last time up. Typical Kong game. He struck out and homered. 5-7, and it's a ground ball second base X. And, of course, nobody being held on, so Doyle keeps his normal 2E23. 2 and 18 is good all day long. E23 and a 14. Nope, 11 and 17 are the errors, not the 14, so that's a good play to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left, courtesy of the walk. And we've played 6 innings. It is 10-2 Phillies. And unfortunately, the dice did not allow a close game this week. Hopefully next week will be closer. You never know what you're going to get when you play these games. And we need a new pitcher for the Giants, by the way, because they pinch hit for McDowell. So let's check the bullpen and see who they have left that's worth anything. We say we use McDowell. So it looks like it might be Don Carithers. He's got some length. Yep, so they're going to use Don Carithers. He will be on in obvious mop-up duty. It'll be Boa Ruthven, if they want to stick with Ruthven, which they probably will. Boa Ruthven and Tovar. 1-7, and that's going to be a ground ball to short, 1 away. And that'll send up Ruthven using pitch hitting card number 1. (3-8), and that's a strikeout. So 2 down. Two down, and we're going to top of the order in Tovar. Tovar reached on an error, singled, and walked. He scored twice. 5-4, and that's a ballpark single check again, 1 to 5, and that's a 3, so it will be a base hit for Tovar. He does get the base hit. His second hit of the game. Not going to be held, not going anywhere thanks to the score. We're not going to mess with that. Carithers 3-8 to Doyle, and that's a single, 2 stars. So the hit parade continues as Doyle gets a base hit, and that'll bring up Montañez. Montañez, your batter. (6-4) for a lefty is a fly ball center field X. That is the center fielder, Maddox. He's a 3 E14. 3 and a 13, he'll get to it, but the E14 is a little suspect. And that's a 12. E14 and a 12. There is a 12. It's a 2-base error on Gary Maddox. He's an E14 and we rolled a 12 right here. 14 and a 12. It's a 2-base error on Gary Maddox. And that's going to score a run and put runners at second and third. Make it 11-2. E8 on Gary Maddox. All this with 2 outs and the base is empty. Carithers was just rolling along until those innocent-looking singles and the 2-base error did him in. Here's Luzinski. Carithers 5-7, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. And with the bases loaded, Rogozinski will be coming on. And nobody the Giants put out there seemed to be able to get any outs. 2-4, and that's a ground ball second base C. That'll end the inning as the Phillies leave them loaded. So they get a run on 2 hits. There was 1 big error, and there were 3 left with the bases loaded. It is now an embarrassing 11-2 game in favor of the Phillies. And now, since we're in the 7th inning, they will make a defensive substitution with the Phillies, and they will get Greg Luzinski out of there. Despite his wheels, he is coming out of there. The new left fielder, actually the new right fielder, is going to be Mike Anderson. And moving from right field to left field, it will be Rogozinski. So Rogozinski will move to left field, and then Anderson will take over in right field. This will be Anderson. So Mike Anderson, a much better defender with a 1. And coming out of the game, obviously, is Luzinski. So let me update my score sheet with that. Anderson is in right, and Rogozinski moves to left field. And the Phillies looking to Ruthven. We're in the 7th, but he hasn't reached his full fatigue yet, so they may try to sneak an extra inning out of him. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. All right, due up for the Giants, it'll be Rader, McCovey, and Bonds. And, of course, it is a 7th inning stretch, and with the score being what it is and all these runs, I think I'm going to need to stretch. I don't know about anybody else, but you can do your sing me, take me out to the ball games as we stand for the 7th inning stretch. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. Phillies have bullpen activity, as they do have Bucky Brandon, a right-hander, loosening down in their pen. Bucky Brandon, just in case Ruthven hits his fatigue, needs to come out. Right now, Rader is your batter. 1-9, and he's going to ground it to second baseman Doyle for out number 1. It's going to bring up McCovey. 4-8, and that's a walk. So McCovey will draw the walk. Of course, he won't be held or won't go anywhere. And Bobby Bonds is up. He is walked, singled, and doubled. 11-2 Laffer here at Candlestick. 5-3, and Ruthven on a 5-3. The fly ball left field X, and we just happened to take Greg Luzinski out of the game. And the left fielder is Rogozinski. And in left field, Rogozinski is still a 4 himself. He's a 4 E17. So let's see if that plays off or not. 4 and a 6 might drop. Let's take a look here. 4 and a 6 does drop for a single. E10, it's a 10 there, and he's an E17. No 10, but it will be a single. And the single on a 4-6 is a 2-star single. So runner will go to third. McCovey on the single by Bonds. So runners are at the corners for Tito Fuentes. And this might be the last batter for Ruthven. Hello, Kent. How you doing? Wish we had a closer game for you. But that's the way the dice roll. Ruthven 5-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. That's Denny Doyle. Nobody being held on, so he keeps his full rating of 2E23. And the infield is back for the double play. 2 and a 17. This might turn it. 2 and a 17 is a G1. That's a 10. He's an E23. There's an 11 there, but no 10, so it will be a 4-6-3 double play to wipe out the inning. So Dick Ruthven is actually going to finish 7 innings of work, and his day is done, as he will collect the obvious win, barring a miracle. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the 8th. It is 11-2. 11-2. Carithers back out for more punishment. Somebody's got to take the punishment in this kind of game. Here is Deluncer, 5-8 rather. Ground ball second base X. That's Fuentes. He's a 2E6. 2 and a 16 is good. E6 and a 9 should be all right, and it is. So Fuentes makes the play. 1 down. And that will send up Bob Boone. Five, 6 against the right-hander is a strikeout. He's not tired yet, so the strikeout is good. 2 down for Larry Boa. Four, 6 for Boa against the switch-hitter batting left. 4-6, 1-3 is a single. That's a 17, so it will be a ground ball to first to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. Go the Phillies here in the top of the 8th. It's 11-2. And now the Phillies, by bringing in a new pitcher with Ruthven scheduled to lead off the 9th inning, they will do a double switch of their own. So Bucky Brandon will come on to pitch, but he's going to bat in a position other than number 9. So we'll see who they want to bring in. Probably an outfielder to take the place of Rogozinski, who's not very good. So see if they have any other outfielders they can throw out there that are halfway decent. I don't see any at all. So let's see who made the recent outs here. Let's see, what about Tovar? Can he play the outfield? He can. Not very good, though. But you know what? We're going to put him out there in left field anyway. So Tovar is going to take over in left field. The pitcher spot will hit right here, number 5 in the order. And hitting in the number 9 position and playing third base is some young guy that may or may not mount to anything. A guy named Mike Schmidt. So Mike Schmidt's going to play third base and bat number 9. Rogozinski is out of there. And that's the end of that. And then Bucky Brandon is your new pitcher. So that should take care of that. Let me update the score sheet so I can keep track of things. Schmidt at third. Tovar moves from third base to left field. And Rogozinski is now the new pitcher spot. Okay. Bottom of the 8th we go. And it's going to be Gary Maddox to lead it off. Followed by Matthews and... followed by the pitcher spot. So we need a pinch hitter for Carithers. Forgot we double switched. So We're at the number 3 position. Number 4 position is the pitcher coming up, so we'll get a pinch hitter for the pitcher, probably Mike Phillips. 2-4, and that's a ground ball to third, 1 away. And as soon as you bring in a new guy for defense, Mike Schmidt, the ball finds him, 1 away. So now a pinch hitter coming up, and it will be the aforementioned, if I can find this card, it will be the aforementioned Mike Phillips. There he is. Mike Phillips is on to pinch hit for the pitcher Carithers, and then they got to have somebody do the deed in the 9th just to mop things up. 5-8. Brandon against the left-hander is a ground ball second base X. That's Doyle. He's a 2E23. 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4. Let's see if that's going to be caught. 2 and a 4 is a G3. And that is an 8. And he is an E23. And again, 11 or 17 of the errors, not the 8. So it's good play for Denny Doyle. 2 up and 2 down, as Phillips is out of there. And it brings up the Sarge, Gary Matthews, with 2 outs and the bases cleared. And they're drawing lots in the Giant bullpen to see who the short man is, who gets the short stick to come out in the 9th inning, because nobody really wants to. Brandon, 6-7 to Matthews. That's a walk. Not exactly what he wanted to do there, but Matthews is aboard on a 2-out walk. Not going to be held, not going to try to go anywhere. Not with the score being what it is. Here's Chris Spire. Brandon to Spire. 3-7, and that's a 1-8 double, but that's a 20, so it's a single 2 stars. That'll put runners at the corners. So all this with 2 outs as they try to get something going. Here's Kingman. He could hit a bomb here, but even a home run would only make it 11-5, so that tells you how far they're behind. "1-9 is a strikeout to end the inning. So no runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the 9th in this laugher. It's 11-2. Favor the Phillies, and now the bullpen for the Giants, they are drawing straws to see who gets the short end of the stick, literally and figuratively. And I think they're going to give it to Charlie Williams. So Charlie Williams will grab the short straw. And he'll be facing a young Mike Schmidt. Charlie Williams facing Mike Schmidt. Lead off the top of the 9th. 11-2 Phillies. That's a 4-10, and that's a ground ball third base X. That is Kingman, who's playing third base. And that's the risk you take when you were behind like that. You had to have offense. He's a 5E53. 5 and 11. That's going to get through for a base hit. E53 and a 7. There is no error, fortunately for him. The 6, 8, and 9, but not a 7. But the 5 and the 11 is actually, no, I take it back. The 5 and 11 is a G3. How you like that? He does make the play. He's going to flip to the pitcher covering and call it 3-1. If you're scoring at home, and if you're scoring this game on a blowout, you may need therapy. Here's Cesar Tovar. 2-6, and that's a pop to short. Spire is there, 2 down. And that'll bring up Denny Doyle. 6-8 for the lefty, and as they fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So Charlie Williams pitches a 1-2-3 9th. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Giants against Mr. Bucky Brandon. And it will be Dave Rader, Willie McCovey, and Bobby Bonds scheduled. Brandon, 3-7 for Rader. That's a 1-2 single, but a 15 is a line out to first. And that is snagged by Willie Montañez. One away. Here comes McCovey. "5-7" for a lefty. 1-15 is a single. That's a 9, so it's a base hit for Willie McCovey. So Old Stretch gets a base hit. And Bobby Bonds, the batter. Brandon trying to get out of this and avoid a fatigue inning. 5-11 for a right-hander. 5-11 is a fly ball to left. 2 down as the new left fielder Cesar Tovar makes that catch for out number 2, and it's down to Tito Fuentes. Brandon to Fuentes. 6-9, switch hitter batting left. 1-17 is an in-home run chance. That's a 12. Fuentes has weak power, though, so it's a single 2 stars, and that'll keep the game going as Fuentes gets himself a base hit. McCovey, with his old legs, he still makes it to third base, and that'll bring up Gary Maddox. Pitcher spot is on deck, so they will get a pinch hitter for Williams if it makes it that far. Looks like Chris Arnold has picked up a bat to pinch hit. 4-8 against a right-hander. That's a single to center field. That'll score the run, and they may have to pull Brandon here. Let's Go Brandon's not working. And that's an RBI single to make it 11-3. And they're going to pull Brandon, and there will be a pinch hitter. It'll be Chris Arnold for the pitcher. So Chris Arnold will come in to hit for the Giants. He will be the pinch hitter. But Brandon couldn't quite get through the game, so they'll have to pull out somebody else. And they're going to go to, who do they want to use? The bullpen thought they had the rest of the game off, but didn't work out that way, so they got to talk somebody into coming in to pitch. And let's see who they're going to get for the Phillies. They will get, boy, who might they want to use here? Who do they have available is the question. I did with my Philly bullpen. I had them here a second ago. Now I can't find them. Very strange. Maybe they're under here. That's what it is. They were under there. Okay. They're going to go to Bill Wilson. Never heard of him, but that's who they're going to use. Bill Wilson to try to finish out the ball game. And Bill Wilson. Hello, Midlife. How are you doing? Didn't see you sneak in there. All right, so Chris Arnold, the pinch hitter, facing Wilson. With a run in, 2 outs and 2 on. It's 11-3 game. Nothing on the havoc. Wilson to Arnold. 6-9, struck him out. He comes in, faces one batter, strikes him out, and the ball game's over. Just that quickly. Obviously not a save situation, so he gets no save there. But Bill Wilson does end it for the Phillies as they win it by the score of 11-3. For the Giants, they get a run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left. So let's look at the totals. 2, 9, 12, 14. I've got the Phillies for 11 runs. This is all unofficial. 14 hits. Let's see. Errors on the Giants. I don't see any errors on the Phillies. The 1 error on the Giants. Actually, there were 2 errors on the Giants. One by Goodson and one by Maddox. So they had 2 errors. Phillies had none. Left on base for the Phillies, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9. I've got them for 9 left on base. For the Phillies, 3 runs, and how many hits do they get? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 10. I've got them for 10 hits, and they left on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. They left on 10. Winning pitcher was Dick Ruthven. Losing pitcher Juan Marichal. Player of the game, I'd have to give it, boy, it's a tough call. There's lots of guys that did some good stuff with the hitting for the Phillies. Tovar set the table, but a lot of other guys. I mean, Denny Doyle had 3 hits. Luzinski had 2 hits, including a 3-run homer. So, but it was that fifth inning that really did it. And Luzinski started that 5th inning with a double. So I'm going to go ahead and give the player of the game to Greg Luzinski. In my mind, he's the one who deserves it. So the Bull, Greg Luzinski, gets the player of the game. He is your player of the game. Phillies win it by the score of 11-3. 11 runs, 14 hits, no errors, and 9 left for the Phillies. 3 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors, and 10 left for the Giants. Winning pitcher Ruthven, losing pitcher Marichal, and Greg Luzinski is your player of the game. He is the player of the game. Next week, we'll stay on the left coast, and we'll stay in Northern California where the girls are warm. And we'll be going over to Oakland Coliseum. It'll be the Detroit Tigers taking on the Oakland A's. That'll be the action for next Saturday. So that'll be your NBC game of the week as we rotate National League and American League games. So no double switches next week, presumably, because of the other because of the DH and whatnot. So there you go. Hello, Alex. How you doing? Didn't see you come in. Thank you for everybody who spent part of your Saturday with me. I got a few more honeydew things to take care of. Next video on the channel will be Inside Pitch 1967, the pennant race. As I've completed all the double headers from the 4th, now we're going to move on to September the 5th of updated standings. And of course, the ball game will be Sudden Sam McDowell against Jim Cott as the Cleveland Indians travel to Metropolitan Stadium to take on those Minnesota Twins. So I'll give updates on how those games went on the 4th, and then get you guys ready for September the 5th. Probably record that for upload tomorrow, most likely. I doubt I'll do it live. I'll probably be a recording. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you guys enjoyed that presentation of the NBC Game of the Week, Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. Unfortunately, the game did not turn out as close as I would have liked, but that, Mama said to be days like this. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Have a good weekend, everybody.